Hello, I'm Amelia Renkert-Thomas. I'm Joint Managing Director of Withers Consulting Group. We work for family groups. They might be parents and children, they might be siblings, they might be groups of cousins. This is really figuring out exactly who they are, what their attitudes are, what their assumptions and culture are, and coming up with a plan that will really work for them and the way they do things. They all own complex assets, often family businesses, but not always. Sometimes family offices, portfolios of investment assets, real estate portfolios, very incredible collections of valuable things. But in any event, it's always a complex asset, which is tremendously important to them. We might be asked to come in to help them develop a governance blueprint. For many of these family groups, the original asset was created by a single founder. Someone founded a business, someone created a family office. And it was run for many years by that founder. But it's now come to be owned and probably run by a group of people. And they find themselves in a completely new situation. They need to develop some rules for the road for how they're going to govern that family asset going forward for the long term. And so they might ask us to say, help us figure out a family council, an owner's council, and a board that can enable us to make the decisions we have to make for this asset. We might also be asked from time to time to do some strategic planning. So a family says, we have a vision for the future, a vision of our success, but we're not exactly sure how to achieve it. Can you help us map out the steps that we are going to need to take to get there? Well, I started my career as a tax, trust, and estates lawyer working with a firm that focused on family businesses. And that gave me a real appreciation for my own family. I come from family businesses on both sides. One, a second-generation business that was sold, and the other, a fifth-generation business that my father managed. And when he became ill, he called me while I was at the law firm and said, "Would you please come and help me?" And so that began a 12-year career running our family business. And during that experience, I really learned how the advice that advisors give is implemented and where families need real help understanding how to implement a future plan. As a lawyer, I was working primarily on a technical exercise, generally with the patriarch or the leader of the family, because the goal was to transfer an asset, often to the next generation. We might be using trusts or some sort of investment vehicle. But that was really the objective we were trying to do. And because there was so much tax work involved, it was primarily a financial exercise. But one of the things that I've learned from working in my own family business is that there's just so much more at stake than money. Core capital includes the family's financial assets, but it also includes their relationships, their reputation, their passions, their experiences, and all of those need to come into play in thinking about how they're going to go forward. To the greatest amount possible, we really help families stay at the center of their structures. Our goal is always to work well with other advisors and to make sure that they come in, because every one of these decisions has important implications for families, and they need to understand what the technical consequences are, as well as the family consequences, the owner consequences, and the business consequences. So we want to make sure that we bring in the family's advisors early and that everybody's on the same page and working together effectively. Families are very complex groups, and they may choose to stay together as a family, to celebrate together, but they may say at some point in time, some of us want to continue in this enterprise and some of us don't. And it takes a lot of really courage for families to make that decision. And I always want to respect their goal and not impose my assumptions of what their future is, but really help them get where they're trying to go.